Well, I'm on the farm today and the drought continues. And but in spite of the drought, and you can see these plants right here. See how that's all turned? And that right there, maybe you can see that. Here's one. So that's not drought damage. And probably a week or a week and a half ago, I sprayed this field around my barn with Roundup, and it's just taken a while to really put the kibosh on the weeds and the grass in here, and especially out in that far end, there's some Johnson grass, but it's killing it. But in any event, we're in a drought, and to make matters worse, what's already dry to a bone, we've had 90-degree temperatures. And so whatever's dry as a bone has been toasted really, really good. And you know, this soil temperature, I don't know what it is, but it's warm to the touch. The soil is warm to the touch. And in spite of the drought, I'm going to plant this field today in Teff grass. And Teff is it's a Ethiopian grain, and here in the United States, people grow it for a hay and forage crop. It's an annual. You know, you have to plant it every year. And if you've seen some of my videos from last year, if you keep up with the channel, that we had a glorious stand of Teff grass in here, and then the rains came and the thunderstorms and the hail, and it beat it down. It went past mature, and I had a humiliating defeat. But in spite of all that, I am not discouraged, and we're going right back in with Teff grass. And the first thing I got to do is I got to get my International Cub Cadet and a little trailer. You know, and the first thing I got to do is I got to go around, and I've got some choice rocks and old roots. This field used to be covered in autumn olives. And I got a little trailer I'm going to put on it, and I'm just going to run around here, hopefully quickly, and pick up some of that stuff. And then I'm going to run a cultipacker across it, just to kind of bust up some of these clods. Maybe mash a couple of rocks in the ground, I don't know. And then I've got my Kubota Vicon pendulum spreader on my John Deere 505 5D, and I'm going to spread fertilizer first, and then I'm going to spread the Teff grass on top of that. Now, why am I planting in a drought? I realize it's an Ethiopian grain and it can take the dry weather and all of that. Well, the weather guessers are saying tonight, maybe, but tomorrow and for the next several days, it's going to be rain, thunder showers, and just rain. And so I feel like between the warm ground and the warm temperatures we have, and if I can get the seed down and then get some water on it, it should quickly germinate, and within a week you'll start seeing a green haze across this field. And whatever residues out here will continue to go down, you know, from the Roundup. But field's in a lot better shape. It's a much smoother than it was. It's not perfect, but compared to what I had, I got my fingers crossed. We're going to have a great crop of Teff grass hay in here. And but I am prepared for another completely humiliating defeat. All right, so what I'm doing here, I'm just kind of skimming across this field. I've got my Cub Cadet 149. I've got an old trailer that my dad made years ago, and got it hooked to the back of the Cub Cadet. And I'm just trying to pick up some bigger stuff that, you know, might get up into the cutter bar on my crone if I use my crone in here. Old roots like this that came out of the ground. This is a Red Max GZ 4350 I'm using. Some of these tree roots are still stuck in the ground, autumn olive roots. By the way, that Red Max is the same as a Husqvarna 543 XP. It's identical except colors and decals, and probably about $250 to close to $300 cheaper in price. They're discontinued. I've had this one for a while, but need to keep going. Okay, continuing along here. I've just got this little bit down here to finish, but I stopped to take a break, and I've emptied this trailer. This is not the first load, but I noticed on my amp meter it was showing discharge. I didn't think about it, but I pulled up here to stop to take a break and get me a little bite to eat. And when I went to start it, the belt was gone. So I'm not sure what was up with that, but one of my boys, he got off from his day job, and he had a few fish to fry, but he thinks he found a belt. I sent him the part number for it. It's a I use a Napa belt. I don't buy the Cub Cadet belt. Maybe I should, but I'm using what I guess everybody else in the Cub Cadet community uses, but for some reason it ate it. And so without a belt on the starter generator, you can't start it. So it's been sitting here, and I've been taking a break. But let me move on over here to the Massey 50. So I got my old crippled up cultipacker, Brillin. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not, but I feel like this one was probably cut down. Anyway, it's okay. And what I'm trying to do here with the Model 50 is, so if you kept up with the videos, I chisel plowed this ground, and then I ran my John Deere disc harrow, KBA disc harrow across it, which did a great job. And then I ran my John Deere number 50 two-section gang of spike tooth harrow. Got a video on that, and that just did an absolutely superb job. You know, Teff grass, you're supposed to have a firm seed bed. There's no firm seed bed. Everything is just like powder. We're so dry. But rain is coming. If the weather guessers don't completely miss the mark. A friend of mine up near Northern Virginia, he said they just got almost an inch of rain. Probably a thunderstorm, but take what we can get. And I think we're supposed to get some showers tonight right after dark, and then rain all day tomorrow. I can't say that I'm scrambling here to get the Teff seed down, because it's going to be 3 or 4 days of rain, and I'll get the grass seed down and the fertilizer down by hook or crook if I have to do it between rains. But the reason I'm using the cultipacker is I just want to kind of break up some clods. Just kind of break up some of these clods in here, and they're not bad, but this part of the field and that little section down there has been picked over. Like I said, all it remains is what's down on that side of the field. I'll be going about 4.5 miles an hour. I don't remember what speed I ran that cultipacker the last time I used it, but you know, there's a couple of wheels missing on it, so that thing clangs and bangs pretty good. So if you think it's about ready to fly apart when you hear the noise, that's exactly probably what's going to happen, but that'd be okay. I'd like to find one that's about a, I don't know, maybe a 10-foot cultipacker. So that one would make some nice parts. Well, let me get busy. All right, so I stopped for just a bit. One of my boys came with the belt, and we got it on the Cub Cadet, and he's going to finish that little section down that way. But I thought while I was all for the tractor, I'd look at some of the marks of this cultipacker, and I don't really know that I need to be doing this, but it does make it look a little smoother. I mean, when I look out through there, and so you can see right here, and then you can see where I haven't gone. It is somewhat beneficial, but I'd say the it's such powdery dirt. I don't know that there's no real firm seed bed. The rain's going to have to do that, and that's what happened last year. I ran the cultipacker to knock the dirt clods down, and when I tried to run the cultipacker again over top of the seed, it just, I don't know, it made a big mess. It was just like dust bowl. It was dry then too, but the cultipacker's not that wide, and it doesn't really fit between my tires, so to speak. So with my John Deere, the rear wheel spacing is wide enough that the cultipacker pretty much fits inside the wheels, or at least maybe to the center of the wheels. On this one, it doesn't do that. So I've got some of this lines, and then I got tractor tire tread, and not a whole lot I can do about that. But I'm just kind of going in circles right in here, and I'll get this part of the field done, and then I'll move down into that area. And I've got some earmuffs, some work tunes earmuffs. I think they're 3M Bluetooth. And when I'm out working like this, a lot of times I'll listen to podcasts or, you know, music or something like that. I have YouTube Premium, which not only gets rid of the commercials for me, but it also lets me download videos. And so I download a lot of audio, and what I've been listening to here of late is like bluegrass music. And so there's a banjo player named Bob Black, and he played with Bill Monroe from 1974 to 1976. And there's a couple of broadcasts where he was interviewed here, I don't know, I think it was a few years ago, I really don't know, a Picky Fingers broadcast. And you can kind of do a search on that if you want. But so in December of 1974, Bill Monroe, who's one of my favorites, they played a tour in Japan. And what I'm listening to today, it's an hour and 36 minutes of music, is Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys in Osaka, Japan. And the personnel in the band, as Bill Monroe would put it, standing on the stage from left to right. On the right hand side, the Bluegrass Boys on the guitar from around Asheville, North Carolina, maybe up around Boone, but Ralph Lewis, and he was kind of a fixture down in that area before and after he played with Bill Monroe. And on the bass was another guy from North Carolina. He was a great bass player, a fellow named Randy Davis. He was from Asheville, North Carolina. And then on the banjo, as Bill Monroe would say, from Iowa, Iowa, Bob Black. And then on the left-hand side, the greatest fiddler in bluegrass music, Kenny Baker. And that was the lineup, including Bill Monroe, and it's a good one. So if you search for Osaka, Japan, 1974, Bill Monroe. You'll find that concert, and then look for the Picky Fingers podcast. They're on YouTube as well, and it's some good stuff to listen to when you're out and about. Well, I'm back on the farm today, and I'm going to try to get the Teff grass seed down and some fertilizer. Ran into some mechanical problems late yesterday. I got the whole field cultipacked down, but it was dark. When I pulled out of the field, it was dark. And it's calling for rain. The weather guessers are calling for rain. And I think I've got a short window here this morning, and then they're saying as much as an inch to an inch and a half of rain. We'll see. It sprinkled a little bit last night. I didn't check the rain gauge, but it wasn't much. Things are drying off, but nonetheless, I'll be spreading this Teff grass here in just a bit, and I got the spreader on my John Deere 5055D. And I got everything I need, I think, including some diesel. And I think we're ready to go. All right, so I got the John Deere 5055D loaded up. With the Vicon spreader. It's a Kubota, but it's really a Vicon design. And I got the hopper off of it. If you saw my older videos, this thing will hold a ton. I've got 1,000 pounds in there, and we're going to get out and start spreading some of this fertilizer. I don't have much of a window, so I won't be making crazy amounts of video, funky camera angles and things like that. What I need to do is get out on the field, put the fertilizer down, and then come back across with the Teff grass seed. So let me keep going. Got the tractor loaded up with TP for the TPS guidance system. One right here. Hopefully we'll have enough. Alright, I just finished putting fertilizer down. Right there's what I got left. It's amazing. And I'll open that thing up and run it around to clean it out. I'm feeling a little drop of rain here and there, but you can see the fertilizer on the ground. This pinion spreader does a nice job. It's about a 40-foot throw. Loaded up with seed next. I got the Teff grass in the hopper. It don't take much. This stuff This is coated seed. I don't know if you can see that stuff dripping, but uncoated is, there's like 1 million seeds to a pound. And what you see right there will cover this whole field. So let me get at it. I felt a little bit of mist when I was putting fertilizer down there towards the end, but this doesn't throw quite as wide. I'm thinking I'm going to get about a 20-foot throw on it, if I recall correctly. So I'll be going, if you can see the TP out there, the lines of TP. The TPS is toilet paper guidance system, and I'll tell you, it really works. It actually works pretty good. I've had my skeptics when I shared it online, and you know, people are like, does it blow away? Well, maybe sometimes, but if you just kind of ball it up. But you can see a line of paper going down through there, and that paper fits on the throttle lever on the John Deere. That was standard equipment, the way it was made. I don't think they knew it. And then the gear shifter on the Massey 50, but so I'll probably be going down, instead of going in the center right there, I'll probably come down through here and then come down the center and just kind of go over like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one pass and see how I'm coming out, and then I'll figure out what to do from there. All right, I made a I made a pass down through here, and this Teff grass is really hard to see on the ground. And so if you look closely, see that little white dot right there? Right there, and then there's a piece of fertilizer. There's some more, and then there's fertilizer. And so what I got to do is find the edges of it, and it tapers off, so you know, I'm still seeing some out to about right here. And what I recall is if I come down the, that's a 40-foot, it's a 40-foot swath, 20 on each side of that toilet paper. And I think what I got here is a 10-foot. So when I get over in here, I might see a little bit of Teff, but at this point in the throw, it's really, really thin. So I'm gonna try to go on the paper and in between it, and hopefully I don't run out. All right, so I finished spreading, and I had just that itsy tiny bit extra. It's amazing how close just the fertilizer and the Teff grass. But you look down in this hopper, you see what's left. It's very little. So I was able to go you know, along the headlands all the way around, and I mean, everywhere I look, I don't know if you can see that or not, there's a piece of fertilizer, and there's some little Teff grass seeds, and it's that way everywhere. And I don't know, I don't think it's going to be streaky the way I overlapped. It just went really smooth. I haven't looked at the weather forecast. One of my boys texted me about 10 minutes ago and said it's going to have about a 2 or 3 hour reprieve on the rain. I thought it was going to rain on me while I was spreading this teff grass, but it held off, and still a lot of weeds out in here, but they're all kind of turning from the Roundup. And I know there's a couple places where I noticed, I think the little sprinkle we got last night, Roundup has always been slow to me to take hold, and we don't spray it. I mean, it's not something we spray. I mean, we'll go years and not spray any Roundup, so it's not something I know, you know, like a 2,4-D or something like that. And but I've experienced this before where, you know, you're thinking, did I not get a good spray? And then 2 weeks later, it's like everything's brown. So I think I've got a pretty good kill. I've certainly set things back a little bit. This teff grass will get herbicide for broadleaf weeds once it gets up to a certain height. I want it to be really clean. My TPS guidance system did pretty good, but it looks like we had a malfunction up here. No computer on the TPS guidance system, but looks like something let go right here. But even you know, just walking, you know, from the tractor over there over to here, you know, when I look, there's fertilizer particles, there's fertilizer, but right all around it is, I don't know if you can see it or not, just little tiny teff grass seeds. And we'll get some rain, and maybe I'll have a pretty good stand here. I'd like for this teff grass, it either clicks or it don't. There's no middle ground. And so I've got my fingers crossed that this will give me some additional yield and revenue with the drought that we're having. And you know, I'm starting to get some goodly number of calls wanting to know about hay. And had a guy call the other day and left a message, and somebody had given him my number. He's about 60 miles away, and he's looking for hay. But anyway, this wet spell, if the weather guesses are correct, is going to go on for probably 5 to 7 days, and maybe it's 10 days. But I don't see any clearing on the forecast, you know, out 7 days or even 10 days. But all that can change, and it usually does. So I'm gonna wrap the video up here, and we'll talk to you later.